Hey everyone, welcome back to Car Flash at the garage where badge worship gets put in the trunk and the real truth rides shotgun. If you're new here, buckle up, because this isn't your average car review channel. We don't do sugar-coated press releases or blind fanboying. What you get here is unfiltered metal, rubber, and road exactly how it's meant to be. Exterior today, we're tearing into the 2026 Honda Ridgeline, the truck that's always lived in a weird in-between world. Not quite a traditional body-on-frame beast, and not exactly a crossover with the bed either. But for 2026, Honda's come back swinging, trying to prove that the Ridgeline is more than just the outsider in a crowded pickup party. So, is it finally a real contender, or just a dressed-up pilot with a tool belt? Let's find out. First glance at the front, and it's clear Honda wants the Ridgeline to stop looking like the polite guy at the barbecue and start looking like the one who brings the firewood. The nose is sharper this year, with a chunkier grille that finally gives the truck some visual muscle. The LED headlights are sleeker, meaner like the Ridgeline finally found its game face. And there's a new skid plate design that, while mostly aesthetic, at least hints that this thing isn't afraid to get a little dirty. Now swing around to the side, and the profile is still clean, still unmistakably Ridgeline, but there's more definition here. The fenders are subtly flared, the wheel arches squared off just enough to give it a more truck-like silhouette. You're looking at 18-inch alloys standard, but go up to the TrailSport or Black Edition trims and you'll get more aggressive shoes and all-terrain rubber. Honda's also added more underbody cladding on certain trims, not just for looks, but to back up their quiet promise that the 2026 model can handle a bit more than weekend mulch runs. Around back, the dual-action tailgate returns, the one that swings open like a door or folds down like a classic drop gate, and honestly, it's still one of the smartest things on the market. The tailgate is paired with a lockable in-bed trunk that remains one of the most underrated features in the truck world. You could fit tools, drinks, gear, or, if you're real creative, turn it into a mobile party cooler. The taillights are redesigned, now slimmer and more modern, with LED signatures that actually give the rear some presence instead of just existing. Interior slide inside, and the Ridgeline continues its mission of blending daily driver comfort with truck utility. The dashboard has been reworked for 2026, a more horizontal, more refined, and way more tech-forward. Honda finally ditched the outdated infotainment setup and gave us a 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard across the board. The instrument cluster, fully digital now, customizable, and clear even in direct sunlight. And if you're springing for the top trims, you're getting things like wireless charging, a 12-speaker premium audio system, and even ventilated front seats, not just heated. But what really stands out is the space and ergonomics. The Ridgeline has always been the comfort king in the mid-sized truck world, and that hasn't changed. Wide seats, tons of shoulder and leg room, and rear seats that flip up for extra in-cabin cargo space. Materials have been upgraded too, even the base trims don't feel cheap anymore, and the higher trims get soft touch surfaces, contrast stitching, and some faux leather that honestly looks better than the real thing in some rivals. Performance under the hood, Honda's sticking with the tried and true 3.5-liter V6, but it's been refined for smoother power delivery and better fuel economy. You're still getting 280 horsepower and 262 pounds-feet of torque, paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And yes, all-wheel drive is now standard across every trim and no more two-wheel drive versions. Honda claims slightly better fuel efficiency this year, think around 20 mpg city and 25 highway, not groundbreaking, but not embarrassing either. But here's where it gets interesting. The 2026 Ridgeline finally gets a more off-road ready TrailSport trim that isn't just a sticker pack. We're talking beefed-up suspension with revised spring rates and dampers, a 1.1-inch lift, beefier all-terrain tires, and even a real steel skid plate. It's not going to dethrone a Tacoma TRD Pro or a Ranger Raptor, but for the kind of light to moderate trails most truck owners actually tackle, It's more than capable. Honda's IVTM 4-torque vectoring AWD system still does a great job of transferring power to the right wheel when traction gets tricky. On road though, the Ridgeline still crushes its rivals. It rides like an SUV, not a jittery pickup. That independent rear suspension makes a world of difference. You can delete this thing and forget you're in a truck until you hit the bed with the payload or hook up a trailer. Speaking of which, towing capacity remains at 5,000 pounds, not segment leading, but enough for boats, campers, and your average utility trailer. Let's talk price. The base sport trim starts around $41,000. Yeah, that's not cheap, but you're getting AWD, a solid V6, and a full suite of safety tech like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, and blind spot monitoring. Step up to the RTL, and you're around $44,000. TrailSport pushes closer to $47,000, while the fully loaded Black Edition hits $49,000. Now, for what you're getting in daily drivability, tech, and comfort, that's still competitive. But if you're chasing max towing or hardcore off-roading, you'll want to look elsewhere. So here's the verdict. The 2026 Honda Ridgeline still isn't trying to be the most macho, overbuilt truck on the lot. It knows what it is: a smooth riding, smartly packaged, ultra-comfortable pickup that's just capable enough to handle the real-life tasks most people actually do. Grocery runs, weekend DIY projects, camping trips, hauling gear, all handled with zero drama. If you're the kind of person who wants a truck but lives in the real world, this thing still makes a ton of sense. But if you're expecting a full-throttle Baja beast or a payload monster, the Ridgeline might leave you wanting more grunt and grit. It's not for everyone, and that's okay, because for the folks who want car-like comfort without ditching utility, this is still one of the smartest mid-size trucks on the market. Alright. That's it for today's ride through reality here at Car Flash. If you dug the breakdown, drop a like, hit that bell, and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. And if you think the Ridgeline is still just a pilot with a bad day, or if you think it's finally earned its truck badge, sound off in the comments. Until next time, keep it raw, keep it real, and keep it rolling. Peace.